Today, we're going to be reacting to patient stories from other doctors on Reddit. Might get a little strange. So this healthcare worker apparently had a conversation. So, you're lactose intolerant? Yes. And you knew this before? Yes. And you drank a milkshake? Yes. What size? Large. The rest of the night was the kids screaming and groaning in the emergency waiting room. If you know you shouldn't drink what's considered poison to your body and then you drink poison to your body, you're gonna be having some explosive diarrhea, yeah. Okay, another one from another physical therapist. Had a patient with neck pain and spasms. Also complained of anxiety and heart palpitations. Asked about caffeine intake and patient revealed drinking an average on 15 to 20 cups of coffee daily. Okay, you guys need to stop having so much caffeine in your day. If you're needing to drink that much caffeine to get through your day, you should probably be looking at your sleep, or if you have an addiction. I will tell you that I'm a coffee addict too, but I'm talking like 4 to 6 cups of coffee. 15 to 20 cups of coffee, you might as well be bleeding coffee grounds. That's crazy. Alrighty, from another poster. One of my best friends is a doctor. She called her brother on the phone. Brother said he discovered this miracle new diet where he lost 14 pounds in 3 days. Alright, right off the bat, that's probably not safe. What's the diet? My friend, only dry food plus no liquids. So your brother's just lost 14 pounds of water weight. My friend, that's right. Me, which he'll gain back the moment he drinks water. Yep. What's your brother do for a living? He's also a doctor. All right, there's no excuse for this one. This guy must not be a nephrologist because they are literally screaming if they're watching this. 14 pounds of water weight, I mean, the guy's dried out SpongeBob. You can't do that. That does not help you lose. That'll help you lose water weight, yes, but that is not sustainable nor healthy, and that is about as extreme as you can get thinking eating only dry foods will be healthy long term. So what is the average amount of water a person should drink? Well, the research has panned out. For the most part, you can generally drink to thirst, meaning that you don't have to focus specifically on exactly amounts unless your thirst mechanism or your sensation of thirst is somehow not working the way it should. This happens in actually older people, which is why they're so at risk of dehydration or heat-related illness when it's really hot outside. Another good rule is to just generally drink until your urine is mostly clear and you'll know you're adequately hydrated. What happens if you don't drink water? Well, when it comes to starvation and people are stuck on islands, you could survive without food for about almost a month on average, plus or minus depending how thin you are. But in terms of water, you're talking like days. So water is really important in terms of how our body functions. In fact, I mean, most of you probably know this, 70 to 80% of your total body weight or composition is water alone, so very important. You need to drink water, not juice, not coffee, not Red Bulls of the wazoo, water, okay? Former practicing surgeon. Male came in with a small bowling pin up his backside for the 3rd time. Well, I don't know what to say. A small bowling pin. I don't know how there's a small bowling pin. I only know of one size, usually universally at most bowling alleys. First of all, how did he get a bowling pin? But I guess you can order that on Amazon Prime nowadays, or anything on Amazon Prime. Maybe there needs to be some safety. You can't stop people from doing what they love, but maybe some good advice and fail safe so that he doesn't come back a 4th time. And somebody replied, the old 3-strike policy doesn't exist. So it looks like this one comes from a physical therapist. I work in an orthopedic rehab. Had a patient with a common fracture of the wrist. The doctor sent over since she was inexplicably getting stiffer and stiffer of the joint. I spent 17 sessions with her, 40 minutes each, one-to-one time. God bless you, physical therapist, for doing what you do. Instead of just bending her wrist, she would contort her entire body. She had a career, married, raised kids, and seemingly functional adult. Tried everything to have her actively use her muscles to move her wrist. In front of a mirror, videos of myself doing the exercise, her doing it, and trying to spot the difference of moving your shoulder versus your wrist. The last time I saw her, I even strapped her arm to a chair, and she didn't understand she was just trying to move her wrist. I will never understand it. As the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. In this situation, it could be somebody that, you know, even as a functional adult, may not have the body awareness or proprioception to perform the exercise that this therapist was trying to do. I'm not trying to say that it's completely the patient's fault, and sometimes patients never had to do these sort of exercises or do these sort of rehabilitation movements. I give, credit for the effort, but sometimes maybe it would have taken a different approach trying to get the patient to move their wrist. You could hold out a milkshake or hold out a pencil and have them try and reach it by only moving their wrist. So there probably are some other ways of actually making this work, but nonetheless, trying to make an entertaining story. All right, looks like we have a toxicology doctor, because his username is ToxDoc, working midnight in the ER ER, family brings in a 4-year-old at 2 a.m. I ask him what's wrong. They say, I asked him, the 4-year-old, he said he needed to see a doctor. Did he say anything was wrong? No, he said he needed to see a doctor, so I brought him. Why do you need to see a doctor? Kid, the doctor has suckers. Ooh. To be clear, it is the parents who lack sense and not the kid. You cannot blame the kid for this one. Kids want candy, they always want candy. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m., 2 p.m., they are not to blame. Yeah, the parents should have more sense here. This is why healthcare is so expensive. Long story short. Unfortunately, this is the way the healthcare system is set up, but this is a perfect example. Probably received a massive bill for this one, and both feel bad for the parents for having done this at 2 a.m. when they didn't realize they were doing so, but also can't really blame them. Speaking about those late evenings, early morning hours, generally we say nothing ever good ever happens after midnight. This is a perfect example, whether it be something severe and terrible because it happened after midnight, usually something like a car crash or some other more bodily harm, or it could be something as benign as, again, the bowling pin stuck in somebody's behind, or this kid wanting a sucker at 2 a.m. So about health literacy. So this isn't just a one-way street. It's not just the parent-patient's responsibility, nor is it the doctor's, but definitely should be met in the middle. And I say this in the sense that doctors, I believe, should take the time to really explain situations. For example, problems that are being treated, medications that are being given. Unfortunately, too oftentimes you also see a patient will say, I'm on like 4 or 5 different medications, but not understand what they're for. And that's unfortunate because you're taking something that's drastically altering things inside your body, or maybe saving your life, or actually may not be, depending on if there was miscommunication or not. And it behooves the doctor to explain at least their thought process when, again, prescribing something simple, which we do so routinely, maybe we forget. This is how we're gonna all get better. For patients though, in terms of health literacy, I would try and check the sources. I think more often than not, as physicians come across is misinformation or just simply bad advice. I mean, to give an example, there was a certain portion of time when apple cider vinegar was very popular to just drink shots of straight. And some people thought that, in which case one patient, despite having severe symptoms of reflux disease, thought that the apple cider vinegar was going to help, and they couldn't figure out why. Understandably, vinegar is acidic to begin with, so most likely it's not going to help an already acidic condition make it better. But again, that comes with the understanding of checking your sources and making sure that whoever is giving your advice has some sort of science-grounded background to make those recommendations. In general, I do feel like it is an obligation as somebody, in a position of having more expertise to educate patients. I believe it is part of our duty, and if anything, it is an investment into educating patients so they can make informed decisions and you can partner together for when it matters. In either case, if you liked what you saw, give it a like and then subscribe.